Ares is doing the classic "you're fired" speech because he thinks Slad Majesty is dead weight. The protagonist just takes it and walks away, low-key wondering how they'll survive without his passive buffs carrying. Morning hits, and Slade is officially unemployed after getting booted for supposedly doing nothing. Being a hero's sidekick doesn't pay well when you're fired, and his stomach is already making demands. He's basically broke after donating all his loot to the party. So it's back to the grind. He pulls up to the Adventurers Guild, hoping they've got something that pays in food. On the way, he spots an old lady struggling with her groceries and steps in to help. Just being near her triggers his fully automated buff, and suddenly her chronic back pain is non-existent. That's his thing. Passive skills that work on autopilot, whether he likes it or not. It's not much, but he's down to help whoever needs it while he figures out his next move. The lady is stoked about her newfound mobility and sends him off with some major grandma energy. Helping feels good, but it doesn't fill the void where a sandwich should be. The guild is packed with people doing actual work, a stark contrast to his current situation. The receptionist gives him a standard welcome, assuming he's just another new face. He doesn't have his badge on him, so he's gotta fill out a form with magic ink to prove who he is. He starts writing his real name, which is definitely going to cause a scene later. Down the hall, he spots some bearded guy named Ganza harassing Ethica, a rookie elf priestess. Slad clocks the situation immediately. A veteran bully picking on someone who clearly just got here. He decides to slide in and break it up before things get even more uncomfortable. Ganza is not feeling the interruption and claims he's just welcoming her to the guild. Slad isn't buying the act and calls out the sexual harassment for exactly what it is. The air gets heavy as Ganza feels a sudden surge of killing intent coming off the rookie. The big guy loses his cool and goes for a strike, but the adventurer doesn't even flinch. Slad shuts him down with zero effort and tells him they're taking this outside. Ethica tries to take the blame, but her protector is already committed to teaching this guy a lesson. Ganza is fully triggered now and just wants a piece of the guy who embarrassed him. A crowd follows them out, always down to watch a rookie get flattened on the main street. Ganza, the supposed bear slayer, goes for a full tilt dash to end the fight instantly. Up in the window, Ethica and the receptionist are watching with varying levels of stress. The receptionist starts to realize that the rookie might actually be someone way out of Ganza's league. Ganza throws a massive armored punch, but Slad Majesty just weaves through it like it's a tutorial mission. He analyzes the moves with a straight face, internally critiquing the guy's sophisticated form. Another swing, another miss. He's making a B-rank adventurer look like he's fighting in slow motion. Ganza is losing his mind trying to land a hit, wondering how a newcomer is this fast. Slad finally hits him with the truth. The veteran isn't missing because he's bad. He's just too slow. The vet is completely gassed out from just a few seconds of shadowboxing a ghost. The crowd is starting to catch on that Ganza is the one in actual trouble here. Slad offers him a way out, noting that the heavy armor is starting to look like a burden. Ganza's realization hits when he can't move. He's been tagged by fully automated debuff the whole time. It's a unique skill, the kind of legendary power that only shows up once in a generation. Slad isn't trying to be a jerk. He genuinely wants the guy to surrender before his own body breaks. He lays it out plain. If Ganza keeps pushing, the debuff is going to literally crush his heart. Ganza is mauling because he got clapped by a rookie. Slad Majesty is just standing there like it's a Tuesday while Ganza faceplants. Ganza's armor is literally crushing him because his stats are bottoming out. Slad hits him with the "please surrender" line, which is low-key the ultimate disrespect. The big guy can't wrap his head around losing to someone with no name. Then the bomb drops. Slad is actually an SSS rank legend, and the whole guild is shook. Ethica celebrates by giving him a sudden, very unelf-like hug while wearing almost nothing. She's crying because she thought he got hurt, and finally introduces herself as Ethica. The guildmaster pulls up and gives him the full Slad Majesty-sama treatment. Slad is being humble, but everyone is already treating him like the main character he is. He explains that his powers are basically just set to autopilot, making him a walking cheat code. Even with SSS rank fame, he's still broke and living that countryside survival life. Turns out the high rank comes with free housing and meals, which is basically his dream come true. Ethica is already looking at him like he's the only man on the planet. Meanwhile, the hero's party is having a meltdown because they realize they fired the wrong guy. A hooded figure notes that the fate of the world party is about to fall apart without their carry. Remeri and Saint Dicia are officially losing it, realizing Slad was the one doing all the heavy lifting. They're finally connecting the dots that Slad was the backbone of their entire operation. Ares is just standing there looking annoyed, probably still thinking he's the main attraction. Back at the guild, Slad is checking out some old books to pass the time. He's reading up on races, and the book says elves are cold and distant. Total cap compared to Ethica. Speaking of Ethica, she comes crashing back in to apologize for the earlier drama. She's feeling guilty, but Slade is already over it and ready for the next move. They're at the counter, and Slad is eyeing a quest that pays in his favorite snacks. The guildmaster is trying to push high-level dragon quests on him, but Slad isn't feeling the grind. He settles for a simple goblin hunt, and Ethica is more than happy to tag along. The master is just glad Slad is helping out, knowing it'll boost the local economy. Ethica is stoked to find some gear, even if it's just a basic dagger for her thief. Wait, she's not a thief. They stop by an antique shop where the manager is clearly not having a good day. Ethica is hyped about their haul, while Slad is just trying to stay out of the shopkeeper's way. The receptionist is chatting with the guildmaster, probably wondering why an SSS rank is hunting goblins. The mood shifts when they mention two veteran parties went missing on the same quest. Slad and Ethica are trekking through the forest, totally oblivious to any potential danger. Slad gives a mini-lecture on why goblins are a menace once they start grouping up. Ethica mentions some pretty dark rumors about hobgoblins that Slad definitely didn't need to hear. She goes on a full-blown yap session about goblin mutations, while her companion just listens in silence. Slad is low-key wishing she'd stop talking about the creepy stuff and focus on the mission. Ethica admits she was worried about forcing him to team up, but she's clearly having the time of her life. They find a fresh footprint, and the vibe immediately gets serious. They've found the burrow, and it's definitely crawling with more than just basic goblins. Ethica steps up to show off her skills, getting ready to summon some backup. She calls out the wind spirit, Sylph, and explains that her outfit is actually a spirit priestess requirement. Ethica is having a full-blown crisis because she thinks Slad Majesty was checking her out. Slad tells her to focus up and use Sylph's power to hit the goblins from downtown. He drops the fully automated buff, and suddenly the vibe is electric. The arrows aren't just hitting. They're basically heat-seeking missiles for goblin heads. Ethica's jaw is on the floor because she's never seen that kind of aimbot energy before. Even Sylph is giving Slade his flowers, calling him strong while he just plays it cool. The goblins are getting absolutely folded, no diff. Ethica thinks she missed a spot, but she's just confused by how the buffs work. Slad sets her straight. With his fully automated buff, a miss is mathematically impossible. He's out here harvesting monster parts like a pro, which is high-key terrifying Ethica. Slad breaks it down for her. Being an adventurer isn't a game. It's about staying alive. He realizes Ethica is subconsciously missing her shots because she's too kind to the monsters. He hands her a blade and tells her straight up, "This is how you survive the grind." He hits her with the hard truth. Either get used to this reality or go home. Right on cue, a massive hobgoblin spawns in, and it is definitely not looking friendly. The power scaling just went off the charts, and Ethica is starting to panic. She draws her bow, shouting for the monster to stay away from her person. She lets it fly with a "My family!" scream that has some serious main character energy. The arrow lands a critical hit, and Slad is actually shook by her sudden glow-up. The hobgoblin gets deleted, but Slad is still stuck on that family comment. Ethica admits she sees him as family now, and the awkward tension is off the charts. Later, Slad is doing some light reading on elves to figure out why they're so intense. He finds out that once an elf claims you, it's basically a lifelong subscription. He thinks back to the hobgoblin, realizing Ethica really did go beast mode for him. Ethica is back to being her sweet self, talking about using goblin ears for medicine. Slad realizes she's actually the goat and decides he wants to stick around to see her grow. They officially form a duo, and the "counting on you" handshake makes it official. Meanwhile, in a flashback, we see the moment Slad finally had enough of Ares' ego. Ares was out here threatening him, totally oblivious to who was actually carrying the team. The hero basically admitted he only cared about loot and couldn't care less about the world. Remiri tries to talk sense into him, pointing out that things were better with Slade. Ares isn't hearing it though. He's too busy mauling over a baggage carrier. He goes on a full rant about how useless everyone else is, which is peak toxic behavior. He's literally screaming, "Damn it!" while the girls look at him like he's lost his mind. Slad remembers the day Ares was appraised and everyone thought he was the chosen one. The hype was real back then. Ares was the world's savior with infinite potential. He really let the fame go to his head, loving the way people bowed down to him. He even handpicked an all-female party just to feed his massive main character complex. Slad was just the footman stuck in the background while Ares lived his best life. Now the girls are starting to realize Ares is a fraud, and they're definitely over it. Ares is having a meltdown, wondering why his perfect life is falling apart without his carrier. He's still delusional enough to think he's the protagonist, but the cracks are showing. Ares is fully mauling, punching walls, and plotting a super creepy comeback since the girls are basically over him. Back in the cave, Ethica is already over the rock and sand aesthetic, while Slad tries to be stealthy. Slad claims his eyes will just adjust to the dark, like he's built different, which honestly sounds fake, but okay. He admits he's been low-key copying their former thief teammates' moves, and asks Ethica to play lookout with her elf eyes. Ethica doesn't get why Slad is still being so extra cautious after they already clapped that huge hobgoblin. Slad points out the hobgoblin was acting sus, like it was running from something even scarier. Slad spots a sound trap and realizes the goblins in this dungeon actually have a couple of brain cells. Ethica almost walks right into a trap like a total rookie, and Slade has to dive in for the save. Turns out it was a bait and switch. The bell was just a distraction for the pitfall trap waiting below. Slad gives the goblins props for the perfect trap placement, which is honestly a bit concerning. He figures a shaman is behind this high IQ play and starts worrying about dark magic and curses. Slad decides to go prone to sneak under the trap, asking Ethica to summon a tiny gnome to help out. Ethica brings out a pint-sized earth spirit that looks like it couldn't hurt a fly, let alone a goblin. The plan is in motion, and a pack of goblins comes charging in exactly like Slad predicted. The goblins try to be clever by taking the safe route, totally unaware they're walking into a trap. They end up falling into a brand new pitfall that definitely wasn't there 5 minutes ago. Ethica is absolutely hyped that the counterplay worked, calling Slade a literal genius for his big brain energy. Slad explains that he just had the gnome do some quick landscaping to turn the goblin's own trap against them. He credits his old team for teaching him how to outplay enemies, which is a rare moment of humility. Ethica feels a little guilty about the messy hole they left behind, giving Slad a wholesome, slightly embarrassed look. Slad is out here grinding for loot, but unfortunately, this room is a total bust with zero treasure. They hit a four-way intersection, which is basically the universal sign for things are about to get complicated. Slad checks the footprints and suggests they leave a friend of the gnome behind to hold the line. Ethica takes the summon a friend suggestion very literally and brings out an absolute unit of an earth spirit that has Slade shook. Slad just stands there while Ethica has a minor existential crisis about him calling her a friend. He's more worried about the cooldown timer, honestly. He explains that his fully automated support is so subtle that teammates usually think they just got good. He's basically gaslighting everyone into being heroes. A tiny spirit pops up out of nowhere, and Ethica's reaction is a solid, "Wait, what?" Slad does the math and realizes the boss room is right ahead. He's already plotting how to handle the inevitable ambush. Path blocked. Slad's out here using dirt like it's a high-level strategy game. Ethica is low-key impressed. Meanwhile, Slad is wondering when adventuring stopped being a vibe and started being a chore. Ethica notices he's zoning out. Slad's just having flashbacks to his old party yelling at him for being useless while he literally carried them. They enter a hallway filled with skulls. Slad's betting there's a shaman ahead because they live for this aesthetic. Ethica spots a human skeleton and her mood straight up tanks. This dungeon just went from 0 to 100 real quick. Surprise hobgoblin. Slad's just standing there like it's another Tuesday. Slad realizes the firepower here is way too high for a normal shaman. The boss is definitely in the next room. They find the goblin hag chilling on a bone throne. Ethica is absolutely terrified, and honestly, fair enough. Quick lore dump. Most goblins are fodder, but if a female mutates like a shaman, she becomes something much worse. Meet the goblin hag, the rare mutation that has the whole hierarchy reversed. Ethica wants to call for backup, but Slad isn't moving. Flashback to the other adventurers getting captured. It's not looking great for them. Slad knows this is too much for a rookie like Ethica. He remembers his old teammates calling him trash, but he's not about to let anyone else get hurt. He spent his whole life thinking he was a burden because his skills were passive. Being just there was his entire identity. But right now, Slade is the only one who can handle this. He tells Ethica to focus on the small fry while he takes the heat. Gnome-san goes in for the assist while Slad makes his move. The coordination is actually kind of clean. Ethica drops a massive fireball to clear the area. Slad is out here using common skills just to fit in, but they straight up work. Slad drops a taunt skill like a pro gamer. Now the hag only has eyes for him. The hag lets out a massive wave of energy. Slad is just standing in the middle of it, like he's waiting for a bus. Ethica is screaming for him to run as everything explodes. It looks like game over for Slad. Wrong. The hag perceives him as a threat, which is exactly what triggers his fully automated debuff. She's already lost and she doesn't even know it. Slad's just staring her down, asking if she's surprised. The confidence is top tier. She tries to use poison claws, but Slad is literally yawning. He explains that since she thinks he's strong, his debuff is working overtime to wreck her stats. The hag's body starts cracking like old pottery. His passive powers are doing all the heavy lifting. Her magic and claws are officially useless. She's just screaming into the void while Slad watches. Ethica is confused, but Slad decides it's time to drop the secrets and tell her about his rank. He explains the debuff. She can't even stand, and it literally speeds up her aging process. One touch, and her bones turn to dust. That's cold. The hag is gone. Slad says things are back to normal, but Ethica thinks his skill is low-key gross. Slad stares at the remains. Forgiveness isn't really a thing for creatures built on pure hatred. He mentions the death curse hags usually drop on their killers. Slad was the only one who could end her without getting cursed into oblivion. Ethica starts crying. The tragedy of the hag's life is finally hitting her. She can't wrap her head around a life lived only for hate. Slade just listens while she vents. Slad looks at the dust. He's low-key hoping she finds a better life if there's a next one. A final look at the cave where a rare monster just got deleted. No cap, that was intense. They head back with the rescued adventurers. Everyone's thanking Slade, but he's giving all the credit to Ethica's coordination. Finally, they see the exit. That was a lot for a first quest. Ethica looks at the light like she's seeing it for the first time. The vibes are finally shifting back to positive. Slad gives her the congratulations speech, making sure she knows she did a solid job on her first real quest. He points out that even though those adventurers were strangers, she protected them like family. Ethica's blushing because she realized she's already built different. They finally make it out of the cave, and everyone is basically worshipping the ground Slad Majesty walks on. Just a normal day for a secret SSS rank, honestly. Back at the guild, the vibes are immaculate. Everyone's getting a feast, and the atmosphere is high-key peak celebration. Ethica is getting all emotional, thanking Slad for basically saving her whole career. She's low-key being a bit too cute about it. She drops the big one. She wants to stay in his party forever. Slad's just sitting there like, oh, so we're really doing this, huh? Slad is realizing his fully automated buff might be doing more than just boosting stats. It's out here boosting his social life too. Ethica is apparently a lightweight because she's already drunk praising Slad. She thinks her improved aim is all her, but Slad knows the truth. Slad's thinking about how his skills are pretty mid without a party to carry. Then Ethica drops a "tonight," and the mood shifts. She casually announces she's staying the night at his place. Slade is straight up lagging. They get to the S-rank suite, and it's basically a 5-star hotel. Ethica sees the massive bath, and she's already losing it. Slad's just trying to relax when Ethica starts stripping for the bath like it's nothing. He's low-key fighting for his life right now. Slad starts questioning the lore. Is she even old enough for this? He decides to just close his eyes and pretend he's elsewhere. He's trying to vibe with a drink to forget the chaos, but the SSS rank lifestyle is just too much to handle. Enter Mitty, a redhead elf who is definitely down bad. She's out here telling Slade he can unload all his worries on her. She gets real close, practically begging Slade to take the lead. The tension is reaching critical levels. Please redeem me. She's straight up offering herself on a silver platter. Slad is absolutely shook. Slad's brain is currently 404 not found. He's out here thinking he's just an adventurer, and now people are talking marriage? He finds Ethica asleep in his bed and starts having some very non-pure thoughts. He has to remind himself to stay focused. He checks the S-rank privilege booklet and realizes the guild literally gives out free passes to the Night District. This world is built different. Slad is thanking God for S-rank benefits while trying to process the absolute insanity of this guild system. Mitty drops some elven culture lore. Calling someone family is basically a marriage proposal. Slad's face says it all. He's out here screaming in lowercase. Mitty explains that for an elf to recognize a human is like winning the lottery. She's calling it fate. Slad Majesty is just a clueless guy who happened to be an SSS rank god. And now he's accidentally collecting a harem. Mitty says she's fine being the second wife. Slad is out here trying to explain he's broke, but nobody's listening. She's having a minor insecurity moment about being chubby for an elf. Slad is just trying to stay conscious. Turns out Mitty was a C-rank adventurer back in the day. She's not just a pretty face. She's got the receipts. She's leaning in for the kill, while Slade is just staring at his drink like it's the most interesting thing in the world. More elven lore. Ear kisses are the green light. Slad is realizing he's walking into a trap he can't escape. Meanwhile, Ethica is just vibing and eating the most delicious food she's ever seen. No thoughts, just snacks. Slad joins the meal, and the service is so fast it's almost scary. That's the SSS rank treatment for you. He's munching on his food while his brain is running circles around the marriage situation. He can't even look at Ethica now. The receptionist is losing her mind because they actually clapped a goblin hag. She thought a regular party would be toast. Slad realizes how high the bar is for adventurers. If you don't have a rare skill, you're basically stuck in A rank forever. S rank isn't just a title. It's for people with unique skills who can literally change the map. It's a whole different league. SSS rank is reserved for world savers. Slad's just realizing he's accidentally a legend. The receptionist slides over a document for him to sign. Slade thinks it's just for his reward money. Nope, it's a marriage certificate. She's straight up proposing to him on the clock. Slad and Ethica are both straight-up short-circuiting. She's so desperate to secure an SSS rank husband that she's offering to let him have affairs. The hustle is real. Ethica is not having it. She steps in and declares herself his official companion. The jealousy is high-key showing. The receptionist is basically a puddle of sadness now. She really tried to speedrun a marriage with a legend. Ethica is standing her ground. She doesn't want Slad around anyone who's just chasing his rank or his bag. The receptionist finally apologizes for being a weirdo. Slad's just relieved he didn't accidentally sign his life away. She asks Slade Majesty how he actually feels about Ethica. Slade's just left there with the biggest question mark over his head. Slad Majesty calls out to Ethica as they finally exit the guild, leaving the marriage proposal drama behind. For now. Ethica is high-key touched that Slad Majesty didn't care about her rank. They're just vibing and walking through the city together. Slad Majesty accidentally drops the marriage proposal like a total noob and instantly regrets it. Ethica is straight up buffering while he tries to panic delete the conversation. Ethica pulls the unless card, and Slad Majesty is officially fighting for his life. She's keeping him on his toes about the whole marriage idea. Ethica is blushing so hard she's basically a tomato. Rushing into marriage after 24 hours is definitely main character energy. Slad Majesty starts laughing because the whole situation is just peak absurdity. Ethica is low-key offended that he thinks her shyness is adorable. Slad Majesty's having a main character internal monologue moment about what family actually means. He just wants someone to see the real him, and Ethica's already halfway there. The duo is officially launching their new arc. Adventure is calling, and they're running toward it like they've got unlimited stamina. They're chilling at a high-end hotel when the staff drops some news. Apparently, a bandit is out here looking for Slad Majesty. Sokha is just vibing in the lobby like she owns the place. She's got that "I'm here to complicate your life" energy. Shaka's got the ultimate tracking hack, and she's not afraid to use it. Slad Majesty is just stood there, wondering how his life got this chaotic. The mood suddenly goes from 0 to 100. Seha's got some heavy news to drop, and it's definitely not a social call. A vision shows a hero's party member getting absolutely cooked. This is the definition of a bad omen. A massive crystal beast is out here preparing to end the world's whole career. The stakes just hit the ceiling.